Every competitive game has one, a meta, the optimal strategy, the top tier pick, the right way to play. And somewhere along the way, playing the game stopped being enough. Now you have to play it correctly. So before you swap your main choice for whatever the tier list says is best, ask yourself something simple. Who are you actually playing for? Is it because you love the game? Or because somewhere along the way, the leaderboard became the only place your opinion felt valid? Among the many traps modern gaming sets for its players, few are as subtle or as consuming as the pursuit of leaderboard validation. It rarely starts as a conscious decision. It just becomes the logical conclusion of a chain of events nobody planned. You start playing League of Legends casually. You get better. Suddenly, casual isn't enough, and the competitive ladder is right there beckoning. The same pattern plays out across every competitive game ever made. And with it comes something more insidious than the grind itself, the validation game. In any debate about strategy, optimal play, or the right approach to a situation, there is always one trump card that ends the conversation. Not the best argument, not the most logical analysis, the highest rank. The pro player's opinion. The person who actually got there. What begins as a simple hobby quietly becomes a contest for credibility. Your ego gets involved before you even notice it happening. And an ego requiring constant external validation is a dangerous thing to build a hobby around, because the leaderboard never actually delivers what it promised. But here's the harder question. Are we playing to actually get better, or are we playing so that the next time a debate erupts, we have something to stand on? I'll be honest here, I try more and more to avoid unnecessary discussions and still get caught up in them. The sheer number of statements pulling you in some conversation is too much, even when you can see it happening. There is a particular kind of stolen valor that emerges from time investment alone. We put in the hours and somewhere along the way convince ourselves that time automatically translates to understanding. Reality has a reliable way of correcting this. Every competitive game has them. Players who have spent years in ranked queues, never climbed, never meaningfully improved, and who will still confidently tell you exactly how the game should be played. The question worth sitting with is an uncomfortable one. Are we those people? How do you humble yourself enough to even consider the possibility? And this connects to something broader that gets overlooked. Having a genuine friends who will tell you the truth about your gameplay, or anything else, is increasingly rare. Modernization removed so many of those places where friction naturally produced honest relationships. Fewer struggles shared means fewer reasons to find people worth struggling alongside. We all want our own space, and yet when it comes to shared goals, we make compromises. And the biggest compromise of all is allowing someone close enough to tell you the truth about yourself. Friends who will deliver harsh reality with genuine good intention are among the rarest people you will ever find. Not because honest people don't exist, but because we don't gravitate towards them when we're exhausted, anxious, or already feeling fragile. Nobody wants to come home from a long day of work or school and be told they're actually not as good at something as they believed. The timing is never right, and so the conversation gets delayed, or never happens. And yet, good critique delivered with genuine care is one of the few things that actually moves the needle. Without it, self-awareness stalls. Without self-awareness, improvement becomes nearly impossible. Not just in games, but in anything that requires honest assessment of where you actually stand versus where you imagine yourself to be. This is why so many of us hit plateau. Not from lack of effort or lack of time invested, from lack of anyone willing to tell us the truth and lack of willingness to hear it when they do. These skills don't transfer perfectly, but they transfer more than most people realize. The more you learn to examine things through different lenses, the more those lenses start working across different areas of life. On a psychological level, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about games, work, or school. Most of us need at least one domain where we feel genuinely competent to maintain a stable sense of self. Hobbies served that function reliably for most of human history. The problem is that data broke the illusion. Someone living 100 or 500 years ago could be the best at a local sport, a local craft, a game played in their community, and that could be genuinely enough. Content built on local excellence was real and sustainable. Today, that same person checks a global leaderboard, watches a speedrun, and compares their rank to millions of others simultaneously, and the foundation just cracks. And yet, some people don't crack with it. Despite loss streaks, despite bots, despite every metric telling them they're nowhere near the top, they keep playing, but not for validation, not for the debate, just to understand their game better than they did yesterday, to figure something out that only they were trying to figure out. Those are the people worth paying attention to and learning from. It is what one could call the love of the game. These days, popular play has narrowed to a handful of accepted options regardless of how many exist. Out of 10,000 possible approaches, you pick from 3, 4, or 5. The ones the community decided are correct. Enjoyment becomes optional if those options happen to suit you, and completely absent if they don't. And if you dare suggest otherwise and you're not playing meta preferred style, you're griefing your team. Take any fighting game. Play a character outside the top tier and the conversation is already over before it starts. The logic is simultaneously pervasive and deeply misplaced. And the damage it does to how people think extends well beyond the game itself. I never understood the inability to start from the honest ground. I don't know this game yet. I don't know what works for me yet. I'm willing to find out. The starting position costs nothing and opens everything. Seneca said it plainly. Those who think they know everything can learn nothing. It doesn't matter how you arrived at the certainty that your way is the only way. Once you're there, the box is closed. Improvement becomes structurally impossible, not from lack of talent or effort, but from the simple refusal to question the position you're defending. Self-awareness isn't a destination. It's the habit of checking whether the box has started closing in on you, and having the honesty to push back when it has. One of the frameworks I always return to when approaching anything competitive comes from Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially, in my mind, I'm the best, is what he said once. People consistently misread this as the same arrogance as thinking you know everything. The nuance separating the two is everything. Ronaldo's logic doesn't claim superiority over others or certainty about outcomes. It means you commit fully to your own approach, your own execution, your own preparation, regardless of what anyone else is doing. It's an internal standard, not an external claim. And that distinction matters enormously. The personal joy of tinkering with a setup, theory crafting an approach, trying something nobody else is trying. That should be the foundation of whether competitive gaming is even worth pursuing for you. If the joy is gone, the rank, means nothing. A practical starting point in any competitive game with meaningful choice is to learn the meta first. Recreate successful strategies, understand why they work, learn the ropes honestly. Once you have enough experience, you'll know whether those strategies actually suit you or whether you're just borrowing someone else's choice. We all default to our first comfortable choices, in food, in games, in life. Familiarity feels like certainty, and certainty feels like quality. The bias is universal and completely understandable, but whenever you have the mental and emotional space for it, try something new. Not because your current choice is wrong, because you might not yet know what right actually feels like for you specifically. Your subjective preference might lead you to a character with no obvious path to higher level of play. That's not unnecessarily a dead end. It's a conversation worth having. Talk to friends, see what other people are doing online. Find a compromise between what's effective and what you actually enjoy doing. The meta exists as a reference point, not as a prison sentence. Who cares if your character isn't top tier? Who cares if your approach doesn't follow meta logic? The only question that actually matters is whether your choices produce the results you're going for. Yoshimitsu in Tekken 7 was my answer to that question. Low tier, unconventional, and endlessly fun to play. I won online and offline with him regularly and never felt that my choice is an adequate one. The days I got trashed sent me back to training to figure out specific counters, expand my move usage, sharpen my timing even through laggy connections. My use of his move flash increased quite a bit. Skill increased gradually, and then it all clicked together, the way real improvement always does. In League of Legends, the same philosophy applied differently. 2 or 3 champions per role maximum, overlapping where possible, never chasing the meta pick. When I was in the zone, results spoke clearly. Not because I was playing what was statistically optimal, but because I understood my choices deeply enough to use them against the meta rather than despite it. Jung said it directly. Someone else's knowledge is not your knowledge. Just because something is meta doesn't mean it belongs to you yet. In other words, doesn't mean you can play it. Maybe the best player ever with an obscure off-meta pick is sitting somewhere completely unbothered by what the tier list says. And honestly, watching someone beat the meta pick with something nobody expected will always spark something primal. David vs. Goliath never gets old because the instinct to root for the underdog is built into us. Finding your footing in all of this is rarely a straight line. The balance between what the data says and what actually brings you joy, between the meta and your own instincts, it shifts constantly and requires ongoing honesty with yourself. These discussions have a way of going off the rails for one reason or another. There is a genuine nuance here, and when any single element gets pushed slightly off the alignment, the whole logic can collapse in ways that rob people of their joy and their confidence for no good reason. We're all trying to figure things out and do better, but when there is emotional investment through time and effort, people are less on point about how the logic plays out, and often fixate on one or another point instead of the whole picture. This just happens to all of us. That's worth being careful about, both in how you receive this kind of conversation and how you participate in it with others. Everyone had a losing streak that felt endless. Everyone was bad before they were good. The gap between those two states was filled entirely by people who kept going anyway, realistic about where they stood, honest about what needed work, stubborn enough not to quit. So keep at it and stay honest. Every once in a while, check whether you're playing for the right reasons. What was the game you improved the most over the years? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe for similar conversations like this one, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.